Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Ned over my Philippine Dreams. Today is August 22nd, 2020, the first day of the rest of our lives. And today I'm doing a live stream. And I'm doing it for two reasons. The first is to respond to a question that was asked for a subscriber about big bikes. And the second is to test my internet speed for uploading live streams. And it doesn't look like it's doing too good right now. So I might actually cancel this live stream. When I connect to servers inside, I have PLDT, fiber optic, as many people know. And when I do a speed test on Ookla or any speed test, and it connects inside the Philippines, it's getting like 3 millisecond latency. It's getting 120 megabit upload and download. But when I connect outside the Philippines, it is doing like 20 megabit download and 3 megabit upload. So it seems like the Philippines is having a problem with its internet infrastructure. Again, this is something that happens a lot here because the Philippines actually developed its own backbone for internet. And yeah, this isn't doing so good. So if anybody's watching this right now, I'd appreciate it if you would say if it's actually, and I lowered the settings. I'm only doing 720p. I'm doing about 3,000 bits per second upload. So if anybody's watching this, please leave a comment if this is actually working or if it's crazy buffering. All right, it looks like it's actually sort of working. Yeah, Rizzo, let me know if this is working. All right, so let's just try to start this because it's showing a green bar on YouTube. So let's get into this. I got a question the other day from a gentleman named Phelens, P-H-E-L-E-N-S. And he asked, and he saw our video, our Kawasaki Bajaj Rouser 200 NS video, and he had this question for me. Hi, quick question. My wife and I are moving about 40 minutes outside Cebu when we're allowed to leave. She's from there and teaches here. My question is, I want to buy a motorbike when I arrive that can carry my wife and me. Would you recommend this model? The price seems very competitive opposed to the KTM Duke 200. I'm looking for reliable transportation that has enough power to get out of trouble, climb hills, etc. Thank you in advance, and as a new subscriber, I like your videos and simple life strategy. You really don't have a choice here. I'm retired LE from a large city and seek the same, so I guess he's retired law enforcement. Take care and be safe. So again, that's his question that he posted on the Kawasaki Bajaj Rouser 200 NS video that I put up. It stops and starts. It's working. Okay. Thank you for the feedback, everybody. All right. So what follows is simply my experience over the past 7 years in the Philippines. I've owned a number of different motorbikes here. When I first got here, I actually got a YBR. It was a Yamaha YBR 125. You can see that. That's the blue motorcycle. In the UK, that's actually a very popular motorcycle because I guess in the UK, when you're starting out riding, you have to get a starter bike to practice on. So it sells really well in the UK. And the price in the UK is actually like $5,000 US, $5,000 to $7,000 US. Here in the Philippines, when they used to sell it, because they don't sell it anymore, it was only $1,300 US. And it was a great motorcycle. I had never had any issues with it. It's sort of like a full frame, but it's only got a 125cc engine, so there's not a whole lot of power. So that was my first bike. After some time here, I wanted something cooler, I wanted something sexier, I wanted something faster. So there was an OFW going back to the United States, and he gave me a great deal on a Kawasaki Rouser 200 NS. NS stands for Naked Street or something, I'm not sure. It's actually a rebranded Indian motorcycle. It's made by Bajaj. Bajaj, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Apologize to any Indians in the audience. And it's 25 horsepower, which might not seem like a lot, but it's a light motorcycle. It's kind of a full frame motorcycle, but it had, when you look at like a Yamaha Mio or a Honda Beat or something like those, when you're looking at 125cc, usually 110cc engine in the Philippines, you're only looking like 8-9 horsepower. So over doubling of the horsepower on the NS was actually pretty cool. It's a fast bike. It's a sexy bike. But I soon realized that it wasn't the bike for me. Most of my driving is in the city. I don't go on long cruises. I don't go on extended forays. I don't go touring because I realize, I'm older now. I got chronic back issues. So going on long motorbike rides in the Philippines, which is, kind of sketchy and dangerous a lot of the time, really wasn't for me. Also, it was a heavy bike compared to like a scooter. At the same time, I had a Rusi, and it was a Honda Beat clone, and I found myself using the Rusi a lot more because the Rouser 200 NS and the YBR 125, which are mid-frame, large frame bikes, they were just too heavy. And maneuvering them in traffic, trying to get them into parking spaces, jumping off and on them, wasn't all that. I use a lot of my driving, again, is running errands. It's stopping, starting, stopping, starting. There's a lot of traffic involved. So after realizing that the 200 NS really wasn't fulfilling my needs, I decided to get a Honda Click 125. And I've had that for about 2 or 3 years now, and I actually let the registration expire. I didn't realize it. And the Honda 125, it's an automatic scooter. It's got floorboards. It's got a lot of storage space, and it's been perfect for me. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's got a good amount of horsepower because it's actually 125cc. I think it's got like 10 or 11 horsepower. And it's just been extremely dependable. The only thing I've had to change is the high beam switch a couple times, and I think that's just the rain getting into it. That's the only issue I've had with it. It's liquid cooled. It's convenient. It's not sexy at all. And as you can see in the photo, actually in the photo, I don't have the top box. I got a box on the back, a big 33-liter storage box. So it's even less sexy. And I even put that 33-liter storage box on my Rouser 200 NS because another thing, when you have these big frame motorcycles, you don't have much storage space. And a lot of times when you're running errands and stuff, you need that storage space. Like I can go out and get giant bags of dog food, giant bags of rice. It's amazing what you can fit on these little automatic scooters. And they have a good amount of power. I've taken that Honda Click 125 and I've gone up mountains, I've gone up cliffs, I've gone off-road. If you've been following my videos, you've seen me go through mud fields on it. It doesn't have a whole lot of ground clearance, so getting one of those skid pad things or whatever they're called on the bottom of the engine might be worth your while, but it's just a great bike. Also, another thing to keep in mind is when you have a big or powerful motorcycle like a Rouser 200 NS, a Ninja, a Harley Davidson, you want to go fast because you got the power there. Especially sometimes you might be going out with some friends, having a few drinks, and jump on your bike and be like, yeah, let's do something. Because when you're winding out the Rouser 200 NS, that's where its power band is. And it's got a lot of power, and it's a lot of fun. But again, I realized that it wasn't for me. I've also ridden CRFs, the Honda CRF, that's a 250, XR 200s, Harley. I've even, driven a Harley here. After being in the Philippines for 7 years and listening to these little scooters with their DBS open pipe mufflers and stuff, I'm turned off by Harleys because they're just too loud at this point. But a lot of people overseas, they like the big bikes. They're used to the big bikes, the Honda Goldwings, the Harleys, that type of thing, the big, Ninjas and all that. But for me, after 7 years in the Philippines, the Honda Click 125 is the bike for me, and I'm going to keep that thing till it literally explodes. It's a love affair. It's just perfect. It's easy to park. It's easy to maneuver. It's got safety features. It's got the combi brake system there where if you're an emergency brake and you jam on your brakes, it equalizes the difference between both tires so you don't lock up your front. It's also got the start cutoff that if your kickstand is down, because when you have a little scooter and you got your kickstand down, you're driving around, that can be very dangerous when you're turning. At least when you got a larger motorcycle, it kicks up if you accidentally hit the kickstand. Another thing is fuel efficiency. When you got these 125cc, 150cc motorcycles, you're getting like 80 to 100 miles per gallon. It's ridiculous. You don't even think about fuel. You don't even think about gas because it's not a big deal. It doesn't hit your budget at all. It's not like having a big car or a truck. So it's really good. And the carrying capacity. And you'll see lots of guys. You'll see lots of foreigners. You'll see lots of Filipinos that have big bikes. They actually go touring. They go from town to town, city to city. It's a big thing. They'll get here in Dumaguete. They do it a couple times a year. But when you talk to these guys, when I talk to the guys here that have big bikes, every single person I know that has a big bike also has a little scooter. Either a Yamaha Mio, a Honda Beat, Honda XRM, something smaller and easier to travel with. Because again, a lot of times when you're running around doing errands, it's going to be kind of like a study in futility. So you're going to have to go place to place to place to place. And when you're trying to maneuver a big bike, a big heavy bike around and park it and climb on and climb off, it's a pain in the ass. When you have a little automatic scooter, it's very simple. And if you've been here, you know what I'm talking about. Now, yeah, Sasha, I know. Yeah, he's got Hayabusas, R1s. He's got all kinds of crazy. You're on my Facebook, so I see all your motorcycles. Again, there's no issue with having that. If you got the money, there's no problem with getting that. They have those all for sale in the Philippines. You can get them here. They're a little more expensive. But again, all the guys that I know that have the big bikes also have little scooters